Good evening, everyone. How are you all? This is your host Debottam, and I welcome you to yet another episode of Better You, Better Life, a self improvement plan SIP podcast, season 1, episode 15. Today, without going recap to our previous episode, we will dive into a new subject, a very subject which is very common to all of us in everyday life. Yes, I'm talking about monotony that exists in our everyday life. Diving directly, I want to bring up a context before I actually start the episode. You might realize that you we always we human beings are always programmed to work or behave in a certain pattern, and that pattern also includes a routine, and our body gets acclimatized with that routine. For example, as our parents always say, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So it has some deep meaning behind it. For example, so we wake up early, we remember our ancestors, we do worship or we do go for some morning walk, we do take some yoga or meditation or some kind of activity, and that imbibes in our routine, our normal routine. More we practice, more we become consistent, and hence we will see results accordingly in our life. But as far as today's context is concerned, today's episode is concerned, we often come across certain life state where we don't feel energized or we don't feel enthusiastic about our daily life. It can be anything. It can be like going to office for a boring job, or maybe you don't like interacting with same set of people again and again because you don't find anything new in it. Or we experience boredom of doing everyday chores in our household, right from brushing our teeth to getting shower and then rushing for the office, or getting or eating same kind of food every day. Naturally, we human always look for something new every time to get our journey, to get our progress ahead. So today we will deep dive into boredom. Why we find ourselves bored on practicing what is normal. Interestingly, we try to create consistency through hard work. But when that consistency is achieved in our everyday life, we don't feel excited about it. Then our monkey mind or our conscious keeps pushing us to go for something new every time. So why it is so? We will try to understand few of the factors or few of the indicators that govern for our this kind of behavior. See, there are certain instances in our daily life where we feel bored or we don't feel like doing it, certain things. As I said, it can be cooking food. Most importantly, the work which irritates me personally is washing clothes. Like washing your dirty clothes every alternate day. It's really a challenge, especially for those single people who are doing job remotely or in some other location, or you don't have any immediate family residing with you. Then organizing your room, going to the supermarket for groceries, or let's say pursuing any passion, you will experience that there is a dip in your energy level, and the thing which was exciting you one day before, suddenly it doesn't excite you anymore, and eventually that enthusiasm inside you dies out and you give up that activity. Does that mean that it you really did not intent to do that activity or pursue that passion or hobby, suddenly it also happens that we don't feel like doing the task for which we worked hard in the past. And also, there were instances where you feel so disinterested in yourself that you do not continue your work and go back to what others refers to as comfort zone. So we human beings always try to create pattern, always try to create comfort zone, and at the same time our mind keeps pinging us to try out something new, which is not exciting as always. I came across many posts in social media, people sharing their ordeal or sharing their experiences, saying that what you do consistently is what you actually are. And that's what experts also say, that it leads to a creation of habit. But at the same time, doesn't it contradict the idea of why we feel bored when we do same kind of activity every day? So certain things which might be missed, or something, certain things, certain gaps are there which we are unable to fill up, and that is the reason that there is a dip in our excitement level or enthusiasm. Few of the possible reasons for existing monotony in your life, in spite of doing the hard work or struggling to keep alive the level of enthusiasm, are like: number one, lack of novelty. Now, what do you mean by novelty? One reason where we find ourselves bored or practicing what is normal is the lack of novelty. Human beings, we have always been curious creatures, isn't it? We always look for something new, and which led to some interesting discoveries in life, which led to some important inventions that changed the humankind forever. Something refreshing, in other words. And we keep our mental setup is that we keep seeking new experiences and new challenges. And when we engage in activities that have become familiar to you and they are very much repetitive, we suddenly lose our excitement, and that same exciting work becomes mundane, and that eventually leads to your boredom, or it becomes monotonous. Another possible reason could be due to limited stimulation. See, all the human beings respond to stimuli. We respond in a certain way for anything happening around our surrounding, in environment, or in within ourselves, our body. We always respond to some kind of stimuli. So normalcy in a situation often implies a routine and predictable set of activities. For example, in a daily life, when somebody asks you, like, how are you? You are saying it's fine. Or somebody will say, I'm okay. Somebody will say, I'm doing good. Which means you are normal, means you have created a normal sense of working pattern for the work which were challenging in the beginning, but after a certain time, after the repetitive action of doing those work, doing those chores, it became a normal for you. So it doesn't stimulate you enough, or it doesn't excite you enough, and this can lead to a lack of stimulation for our minds as well as our senses. Without new and engaging stimuli, our brains may not be sufficiently engaged. Our brain it's like a CPU of a computer or a laptop, and it keeps on processing information. And when you keep it idle, then you don't feel excited, and that also triggers boredom in your daily life. And that is the reason why our brains crave novelty and variety to stay engaged and interested in the kind of works we do. Another possible reason could be lack of growth and learning opportunities. Now this is applies to most of the individuals in today's generation. Engaging, like lack of engagement, when you, that's why you will see many youngsters these days, they are so much involved with their mobile phone, scrolling from up and up in social media, checking reels or checking status in WhatsApp, and that eats up their majority of their productive time. So engaging in what is considered normal often means sticking to what you already know and you are comfortable with. Because you know that thing, because you are quite comfortable and quite assured that whatever the work you are doing for which you have certain output and you know what that output is going to be. While familiarity can be comforting, it can also hinder your personal growth and learning. And that is the reason why we often feel saturated or when we often feel stagnant in our careers or in our life, because we are stuck in that loop of familiarity, and that loop is not giving us anything new to move ahead in life. And when you move ahead, then only you will grow. And it is a universal truth. And experts in the market, they are always trying to teach you that you have to find out some value from that loop. And if you think that in that loop you are not learning anything new, then you got to break the loop and look for newer challenges. And when we don't challenge ourselves and venture into new territories, we probably will miss out on opportunities for self improvement and expansion. And that leads to a sense of feeling stagnant or boredom. Another major reason for boredom in our everyday life is repetition and monotony. See, it is also true that when we repeat certain activity, we become more familiar with it. We start improving upon it, but everything has a certain tipping point. Means for an activity, take it as a graph. There is the maximum level where you can achieve, and after that, that performance or that learning curve dipping towards downside. Let me put it some other way, that repetition of normal activities can quickly become monotonous. If you don't see any purpose to it, then definitely there is a greater probability that you will leave that activity in the middle. When we do the same things over and over again without any variation, that's why people say variation is more important. Do something new. Our minds become disengaged and we seek for more pleasure and we seek for more stimulating experiences. Something new that will excite you, something that will give you that kick inside. This lack of variety and spontaneity in practicing what is normal can contribute to the feelings of boredom and restlessness. Another factor could be of unfulfilled desire for adventure. See, deep down, many individuals have a desire for excitement, like they want to go for a forest trip, they want to go for an adventure walk, or maybe hiking in the countryside. But due to life condition or due to multiple engagements in everyday life, somewhere their desire remains unfulfilled in their mind. They will make a to-do list, they will start planning some trip, but somehow due to some reason it never get materialized, and that's when you feel that boredom in your life, or that excitement becomes absent. Practicing what is normal often fails to satisfy this innate longing for new experiences and challenges. And as a result, we may feel a sense of boredom and restlessness, and we start yearning for something more exhilarating and out of the ordinary. Having saying all those, in a broader picture, our human mind is the most restless unit we can ever come across. We humans need to inject ourselves with adventure and newness in things that may not make much sense. Probably this is what all those experts indicate, that pushing yourself on and on and on to come out of your comfort zone and explore life in a more meaningful way. Boredom with practicing what is normal can arise, and it can happen due to many factors. Summarizing all those major factors which could lead to boredom within our everyday life, it may arise from a lack of novelty, then we have limited stimulation, then a dearth of growth opportunities, the monotony of repetitive activities, and lastly, the unfulfilled desire for adventure. To overcome this boredom, what we should do? It is very much important to introduce variety in our everyday life. We can try different methods and techniques to get the same work done to keep the excitement alive. We should seek out for new challenges, and we should constantly strive for personal growth and expansion beyond the confines of what is considered normal. And definitely, it is difficult. You may not get a solution to it very instantly, as you have to seek it. You have to find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And accordingly, you will get your solution and answers. I wish all of you to keep the passion inside you alive with your adventure and experiences, and always strive ahead for excellence. With this positive note, I hope that today's episode will be helpful for you. Till then, we meet you for some next episode. We will discuss about some new skill or new concept in order to become better version of ourselves. Till then, this is your host Debottam signing off.